Children, and welcome to today's session of journal entries. We have a topic today which will be discussing discount as well as compound entries. We will discuss them all together so that it gives you a clear idea about both. So first we'll go with the discount. What is a discount? As in the common language, it is an allowance given by the seller. At the time of selling the goods, the seller can give a little bit of allowance to the buyer so that he can pay lesser price as compared to the actual market price. So we have two categories of discount that are commonly known. They are trade discount and cash discount. So we have a clear distinction about trade discount and cash discount. First we will have a look at the trade discount. Now what is trade discount? As the word suggests, trade. Trade can be a wholesale trade or a retail trade. So trade discount is allowed by the wholesaler or the manufacturer or the retailer at a fixed percentage on the list price. Whatever price has been printed on that price, trade discount can be given to the wholesalers or retailers for the trading purpose, for the business purpose. Okay. On the list price or marked price. List price is also known as marked price or catalog price. It is allowed when the goods are purchased in bulk quantity. It means if the goods have been purchased by a wholesaler in a very large quantity from the manufacturer, or goods have been purchased by a retailer from the wholesaler still in a large quantity, the trade discount can be allowed. This kind of discount is allowed on both cash as well as credit transactions. Trade discount is allowed for cash as well as credit transactions, both. No separate entry is made and it is directly deducted from the cash memo. For trade discount, we are not going to show separately in a journal entry. We have to deduct the trade discount from the marked price directly. No clarification in the journal entry is being made for trade discount. Trade discount is the actual earning of the wholesaler. Suppose if the actual commodity is being sold at a price of 10 rupees in the market, then naturally the wholesaler will get it at a set price of 7, and 3 rupees margin will be his gain, will be his profit, will be his benefit. Similarly, if the wholesaler is selling it to the retailer, again it will be sold at a lesser price. For example, he has sold a commodity which he has purchased at 7 rupees. Original market price was suppose 10 rupees and the retailer gets it at rupees 9. So the retailer's benefit will be 1 rupee. He will sell to the ultimate customer at a price of 10. So these types of discount which the wholesaler and retailers are getting are actually their gains for rendering their services. So trade discount is being allowed only at the time of bulk purchases and it is not to be shown in the books of accounts. Now moving on to the cash discount. Cash discount is a discount which is being allowed to the customer for receiving quick payments. As we can see in the text which is written over here, it is allowed for the quick payments to motivate the customers. It is recorded in the books as a discount is allowed at the time of making payments. This type of discount will be recorded in the journal entry as it is to be allowed at the time of receiving payments. So our record has to be maintained about it, and it is generally allowed to the ultimate consumer, not to the traders. It is allowed to the ultimate consumer which is going to use the commodity in order to prompt him, in order to motivate him to make quick payments. Okay. We have one very important element which I am going to discuss over here. If both the discounts are given in a particular question, then what is the order of treating the discounts? First, we will deduct the trade discount from the marked price, and then we will calculate cash discount on the remaining value after deducting the trade discount. So this is all about trade discount and cash discount. Trade discount is allowed to the traders for bulk purchases. And cash discount is generally allowed to the ultimate consumers in order to motivate them to make quick payments. Now moving on to one very important aspect regarding this is a compound entry. Earlier up till now, whatever journal entries we have discussed were simple journal entries in which we had only one account on both the sides. On the credit side also one account and on the debit side also one account. Today we are going to discuss compound entries. When two or more transactions relating to one particular account take place on the same day, then instead of passing separate journal entries, we can have a combined entry. that is called a compound entry. For example, if salary and rent is paid on the same date, so instead of making separate journal entry, salary account debited to cash, rent account debited to cash, we can make one single entry to show both the transactions. As you can see over here, rent account debited 2000, salary account debited 4000, and the total cash which has been going out from the firm will be 6000. So this is how two accounts or more than two accounts can be debited against one particular account if it is of the nature that cash is being going out. So we have credited cash only once, and the remaining two accounts can be debited in a single entry. This is called a compound entry, where two or more transactions can be shown in a journal entry instead of showing the separate journal entries. So this is called compound entry. I hope that you have understood all the three elements. In the next video, we will discuss about one question relating to trade discount and cash discount. Stay tuned till then.